Hey everyone, welcome back to Build Break and Beyond, and on today's episode we make the first long wheelbase Volvo wagon using wood. Today's going to be a big brainstorming day trying to figure out how to get the 32-inch tires on the back of the Volvo, but first a couple updates on the fleet. The Stage 3 Plus Audi B5 S4 was sold to a very enthusiastic buyer in South Carolina. The Big Boost BMW shredded its timing belt in spectacular fashion, but a replacement belt and pulley got it back to its former glory. And the mini bike is running, and it is running fast. My buddy Michael from Detmers Designs is on his way over. We're going to check out the rear subframe and see what kind of options we have as far as fitting the 32-inch tires on there, and hopefully have a game plan by the end of the day. Alright, so after a ton of brainstorming and writing on cardboard, here's the plan that we have right now. This is the current center line of the hub, and that is not going to be enough clearance for the tires. And we're going to do all the trimming on the back end. In order to do that, we have to move the entire center line back 3¼ inches. The hub will then be around here. We have to remove the entire subframe, build spacers back here. This is going to be the harder one. This gives you an idea where the wheel and tire will end up after the subframe move versus where the hub is now. It is definitely not a small move. Now that we have the mock-up of the subframe relocation bracket made out of wood, I'm going to remove the exhaust from the car and detach the drive shaft so that we can slide everything down. Alright, much better. That is beautiful. Probably sounds pretty badass. Alright, let's give it a quick little start, just see what it sounds like straight pipe. That's not bad at all, we might have to keep it straight pipe. There it goes. The rear subframe is now completely disconnected from the car. You can kind of see some of these lines that we're going to have to reroute. These brake lines and stuff, they have a little bit of flex, so it shouldn't be too bad. The filler neck, reroute those around, but overall it's easy but not simple. Got to get these fender liners out, and we'll take off the bump stops as well. Let's get to it. I just took this fender liner off, and this is way overbuilt. Usually it's just a thin piece of plastic and you can deform it and mold it. This is way overbuilt. This looks like sound deadening. This has got a lot of rigidity. You really can't even fold it down. And I'm a little bit worried there's going to be a lot more road noise. It's extremely overbuilt, and I'll just go take the one on the other side out now. With those off, you have a much better idea of what we're working with back here. Cutting into this would have been a really bad idea on the front side here. This is pinch welds, this is very structural. And now it's time for the moment of truth. Alright, so the fit up went pretty well. The part fit the first time with only minor modifications, so I know exactly what I need to order. Now I'm going to power wash the entire thing so that it's a lot cleaner before I start cutting and get all of this grime out of here. Now that we know that the bracket will work, I can start trimming. The entire subframe was butted right up against here, spare tire well, which we can't use because the tires we're putting on are much larger. We're gonna have to push this back enough to give this space. We're also gonna need to notch out a section here so that the fuel lines can be tucked up under. So I just have to go inside, start marking exactly where these cuts are gonna start happening. I'm just gonna start marking it out and then we can get cutting. We're pretty lucky over here. This is not the fuel tank. This is where the muffler used to live. We should be fine. It's all good. The last thing to do with cutting the wheel well back here is going to be taking that little mark I made back there all the way over to around here so that this can be tucked inside. I'm going to go cut the inside and make sure we can tuck it up before we make anything permanent. And it is pretty much there. It had to get cut a little bit more to make some space because the subframe is a bit oddly shaped. It's probably going to require some more trimming for final fitment, like right here, along here, but that should be pretty simple. I moved the axle back so you have a much better idea of how it's going to look. So this is where the axle was at the beginning, this is where it is now. And if we roll a tire in front, you should be able to get a much better idea of how everything is going to end up looking. So you can see that on the front side we have plenty of clearance, and on the back side we just have to trim a little bit, tuck those fuel lines away. Just got to make those adapters now and bolt everything up and extend the drive shaft, brake lines, parking brake cables, a couple other things. This is looking really good as a proof of concept. Thanks for watching, thanks for liking, and on the next episode we're going to have all the metal in to make the brackets and we're going to get this rolling under its own weight. See you next time.